On November 2, 2017, a team of physicists published findings in Nature, one of the most prestigious peer-reviewed journals in the world, announcing they had detected a hidden void inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu. Not a crack, not a construction gap, a chamber, 30 meters long, roughly the size of a commercial airliner fuselage, sitting above the Grand Gallery untouched for 45 centuries. 3 independent research teams using muon tomography confirmed it. The data was clean, the discovery was monumental, and within 72 hours, Egyptian authorities issued a statement downplaying the findings, calling the void a natural structural feature and making it clear that no physical exploration would be permitted. 7 years later, that chamber remains sealed. No drill, no camera, no explanation. Meanwhile, a pattern has emerged across multiple sites at Giza. Cutting-edge scanning technology detects anomalies, researchers announce findings, permits are requested, and institutional doors slam shut. This isn't a story about what we don't know. It's about what we've found and aren't allowed to see. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what the Great Pyramid is supposed to be. According to Orthodox Egyptology, it's a tomb. Built around 2560 BCE for Pharaoh Khufu, constructed over 20 years by tens of thousands of workers using copper tools, wooden sledges, and ramps. The internal architecture is well documented. The descending passage, the ascending passage, the Grand Gallery, the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber. Every major space has been mapped, explored, and catalogued since the 9th century. The narrative is settled. Except the narrative depends on one assumption, that we found everything there is to find. For most of the pyramid's history, that assumption was untestable. You couldn't see through solid limestone. You couldn't scan hundreds of thousands of tons of rock for hollow spaces. So the map we had was the map we accepted. But in the last 30 years, technology has caught up, and the map is no longer complete. The technology that changed everything is called muon tomography. Muons are subatomic particles created when cosmic rays from deep space collide with Earth's upper atmosphere. Billions of them rain down on the planet every second. They pass through most matter, air, water, flesh, almost unimpeded. But when they hit dense material like stone, some of them are absorbed. By placing detectors inside a structure and measuring how many muons pass through from different angles, you can create a density map. Empty space lets more muons through. Solid stone blocks them. It's the same principle as an X-ray, but instead of a machine generating the beam, the universe provides it for free, and it works on any scale. In 2017, the ScanPyramids project deployed muon detectors inside the Great Pyramid and let them collect data for months. When the results came back, they showed something that shouldn't be there. A massive low-density zone above the Grand Gallery, consistent with a void at least 30 meters in length. The team ran the analysis again. Same result. They brought in 2 more independent research groups using different detector placements. Same result. The void was real. The discovery was published in Nature on November 2, 2017. The paper was titled Discovery of a Big Void in Khufu's Pyramid by Observation of Cosmic Ray Muons. The lead researchers were from Nagoya University, KEK, and CEA Paris-Saclay, institutions with impeccable reputations. The peer review process was rigorous. The data was transparent. By every standard of modern science, this was a legitimate find. And the implications were staggering. A chamber that size in that location with no known access point challenges everything we think we understand about the pyramid's construction. Was it a structural feature, a weight-relieving void designed to protect the Grand Gallery from collapse? Possible, but the Grand Gallery already has relieving chambers above it, and none of them are 30 meters long. Was it a sealed storage space, a hidden burial chamber, a construction error? No one could say because no one was allowed to look. Within days of the announcement, Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities released a statement. They acknowledged the detection but insisted the void was likely a natural irregularity or a known structural feature. They did not specify which known feature. And they made it clear that no invasive exploration would be permitted. The chamber remains sealed to this day. The ScanPyramids void isn't the first discovery to hit this wall. In March 1993, a German robotics engineer named Rudolf Gantenbrink was contracted by the Egyptian Antiquities Organization to improve ventilation in the Queen's chamber. The chamber has two narrow shafts, about 20 centimeters square, that extend into the pyramid's masonry. For decades, they were assumed to be air shafts, though they don't open to the exterior. Gantenbrink built a small robot called UPUAUT-2, equipped with a camera and lights, to explore the southern shaft. On March 22nd, the robot crawled 65 meters up the shaft and stopped. Blocking its path was a limestone slab fitted flush into the shaft walls, and embedded in the slab were two corroded copper pins or handles. It looked, for all the world, like a door, a sealed door, inside a shaft no human had accessed in over 4,000 years. Gantenbrink immediately reported the discovery. Photographs were released. The global media picked up the story. And within weeks, Gantenbrink's permit was revoked and he was asked to leave Egypt. The official reason given was that he had violated protocol by releasing images without authorization. But the timing raised questions. What was behind the door? And why did the discovery of it end the project? It took 9 years to get permission to go back. In September 2002, a team led by Zahi Hawass, then Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, drilled a small hole through the Gantenbrink door and inserted a fiber optic camera. The live broadcast was carried by National Geographic. Millions watched. The camera pushed through the hole and the view opened into a small space beyond the slab. The chamber was empty. No artifacts, no inscriptions, just rough stone. And at the far end, roughly 20 centimeters away, another slab, another door. The broadcast ended. The project was shelved. No follow-up drilling was conducted. No further imaging was attempted. The second door has never been breached. To this day, we don't know what lies beyond it. And here's the part that doesn't sit right. Modern endoscopic cameras are smaller, more maneuverable, and higher resolution than the equipment used in 2002. Drilling a second hole would be trivial. Ground-penetrating radar or ultrasonic imaging could scan beyond the second slab without touching it. The technology exists. The funding exists. What doesn't exist is the permit. The pattern extends beyond the Great Pyramid. In 2015, the ScanPyramids project also deployed thermal imaging cameras across the Giza Plateau. Infrared sensors detect temperature variations in stone, differences of even a fraction of a degree. Solid stone retains heat differently than hollow space. Air cavities cool faster at night and warm slower during the day. When the thermal scans were processed, they revealed anomalies, blocks in the Great Pyramid's eastern face that were significantly warmer than surrounding stones, suggesting voids behind them. Similar anomalies appeared in the Pyramid of Khafre. The data was published. The researchers requested permission to conduct ground-penetrating radar follow-ups to confirm the findings. The permits were denied. In 2017, a separate team using GPR detected what appeared to be geometric anomalies beneath the Sphinx, regular, angular shapes inconsistent with natural geology, located directly between the Sphinx's paws. The findings were presented at a conference. Excavation permits were requested. They were denied. No official explanation was provided. The anomalies remained buried. So we're left with a question: why block exploration of scientifically validated anomalies? The official explanations vary depending on who's speaking, but they generally fall into 3 categories. First, structural preservation. The argument is that drilling, excavation, or even inserting cameras risks destabilizing the monuments. This is a legitimate concern. The pyramids are 45 centuries old. Any invasive procedure carries risk. But this argument falls apart under scrutiny. The ScanPyramids muon detectors were entirely non-invasive. They simply recorded particles passing through existing space. Thermal imaging is passive. Ground-penetrating radar doesn't touch the stone, and modern micro-drilling techniques used routinely in archaeological and engineering contexts can create holes smaller than a pencil with negligible structural impact. If preservation were the true concern, non-invasive imaging would be encouraged, not blocked. Second, academic gatekeeping. Some researchers argue that Egyptian authorities and orthodox Egyptologists resist new discoveries because they threaten established narratives and reputations. If a major find is made by foreign scientists using new technology, it undermines decades of traditional fieldwork and shifts credit away from the institutions that have controlled Giza for generations. This is plausible. Academic politics are real. But it doesn't explain why the discoveries are downplayed rather than co-opted. If the void in the Great Pyramid were explored and found to contain artifacts, that would be a triumph for Egyptian archaeology, regardless of who detected it first. Unless, of course, what's inside doesn't fit the triumph narrative. Which brings us to the third explanation, the one that doesn't get spoken aloud in academic journals but circulates in private conversations and fringe conferences. Fear of what's inside. Not treasure, not gold, but information. Artifacts, inscriptions, or technologies that don't align with the accepted timeline of Egyptian civilization. Consider what the standard chronology requires. The Great Pyramid was built in the 4th dynasty, around 2560 BCE, using copper tools and primitive logistics. Writing was limited to hieroglyphs. Mathematics was basic. Astronomy was observational. If a sealed chamber were opened and found to contain advanced metallurgy, precise astronomical instruments, or references to a pre-dynastic high culture, it would destabilize not just Egyptian history, but the entire narrative of civilization's linear progression from primitive to advanced. This is speculative. We don't know what's in the void. We don't know what's behind the second Gantenbrink door. But we do know that the people who control access have consistently chosen not to look. And that choice in itself is evidence of something, even if it's just the fear of being wrong. Let's return to the evidence we can verify. The ScanPyramids void is real. 3 independent teams confirmed it. The data is public. The detection method, muon tomography, has been peer-reviewed and is used in fields ranging from volcanology to nuclear reactor imaging. It works. The Gantenbrink door is real. The photographs exist. The copper fittings are visible. The second door was documented on live television in 2002. The thermal anomalies are real. Infrared doesn't lie. Temperature differentials indicate density changes. The GPR readings beneath the Sphinx are real. Multiple surveys have detected the same geometric signatures. These are not rumors. These are not fringe theories. These are documented findings using validated technology published in scientific literature and confirmed by multiple independent sources. And every single one of them has been met with institutional resistance. Permits denied, projects halted, researchers expelled or sidelined. The pattern is consistent. The question is no longer whether there are hidden chambers. The question is why we're not allowed to see them. There's a historical precedent worth noting. In 1954, Egyptian archaeologist Kamel El-Malik discovered 2 sealed pits on the south side of the Great Pyramid. When the first pit was opened, it contained a disassembled cedarwood boat, over 40 meters long, perfectly preserved for 45 centuries. It took 14 years to reassemble. It's now displayed in a museum at Giza. The second pit was detected at the same time. Ground-penetrating radar confirmed it also contained a boat, but it was never opened. For 60 years, it remained sealed. Why? The official reason was preservation. Exposure to air would cause the wood to deteriorate as it had with the first boat. But in 2011, a team finally inserted a camera. The boat was there, intact. In 2021, the pit was excavated. The boat was removed and is now being restored. It took 67 years to open a chamber we knew contained a boat. How long will it take to open chambers we don't know the contents of? Or will they remain sealed indefinitely, not because we lack the tools, but because we lack the will or the permission to use them? Here's what we're left with. We have the technology to see through stone. We've used it. It works. We've detected chambers, voids, and anomalies that were unknown a generation ago. Some of them are massive. Some of them are sealed behind doors with metal fittings. Some of them are buried under structures we thought we understood completely. And in almost every case, the response from the institutions that control access has been the same. Acknowledge the detection, downplay the significance, deny the permit, move on. This isn't a failure of technology, it's a failure of will, or perhaps it's not a failure at all. Perhaps it's a choice. A calculated decision that some questions are better left unanswered, some doors better left closed, some chambers better left sealed. Because once you open them, you can't unsee what's inside. And if what's inside contradicts the story we've told ourselves about where we come from, how we got here, and what we're capable of, then the cost of discovery might be higher than the cost of ignorance. Let's play out the scenarios. Scenario 1, the chambers are opened and they're empty, structural voids, construction gaps, architectural features with no cultural significance. Disappointing, but it closes the question. Scenario 2, they contain artifacts consistent with 4th Dynasty Egypt. Pottery, tools, maybe a burial. Significant, but it confirms what we already believe. Scenario 3, they contain something we can't explain. Inscriptions referencing knowledge we didn't think they had. Artifacts made from materials or with precision we didn't think they possessed. Evidence of contact, influence, or continuity with a culture that predates the dynastic timeline. That scenario doesn't just rewrite Egyptian history. It destabilizes the foundational narrative of civilization itself. And if you're an institution whose authority rests on that narrative, Scenario 3 isn't a discovery. It's a threat. So you don't open the door, you don't approve the permit, you don't let the question get answered. Because the safest way to protect a story is to make sure no one can check the footnotes. The ScanPyramids void is still there, 30 meters long, untouched, unexamined. The second Gantenbrink door is still sealed. The thermal anomalies are still glowing on infrared. The GPR signatures beneath the Sphinx are still buried under sand and bureaucracy, and the permits are still denied. This isn't ancient history. This is happening now. We have the tools, we have the data, we have the questions. What we don't have is access, and that's the real mystery. Not what's inside the chambers, but why we're not allowed to find out. Because the answers exist, right now. Behind stone, we have the technology to penetrate. Doors, we have the tools to open. Earth, we have the equipment to excavate. The only thing standing between us and the truth isn't engineering, it's permission. And when you realize that the biggest obstacle to discovery isn't the past, it's the present, you start to wonder what we're really protecting. The monuments, or the story we've built around them. Until those chambers are opened, we won't know. And maybe that's the point.